so welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, I wanted to do a book review on an author that I discovered last year, a series I discovered by her last year, and I really did enjoy it. This author, she writes romance books. She is a Black author. So that author is Brittaniny Cherry, and the series is the Element series. There are 4 books in this series. I'm going to go through each one of these, tell my pros and cons. It's perfect for me to discuss these books with you guys because I just finished the last book in the series. So before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So like I stated, there are 4 books in the Element series. The first book is called The Air He Breathes. The second book is called Between High and Low. Third book is The Silent Waters. And then the last book is Gravity of Us. Now, the good thing about this series is you do not have to read these books in order, standalones. And when I mean standalones, like, you know how you have some standalone books where they might be like another couple that was in like the previous book, they'll have like their own book, or you mention other characters, from the first, second, third, fourth book or whatever. Her books, they don't do that. So you can read these out of order. You can read one, you can read the first one and you say, oh, I don't like it, I want to stick to the second, third, fourth. You can do all of that. I love that about this series because I'm gonna be honest. One of the books, the second book, I DNF'd it. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, but let's go in order. So the first book, The Air He Breathes, is about a woman named Emma. Emma has had some tragedy in her life, and she is a mother, and she wants to go back to her hometown because she just needs to be close to, her family, right? A very small town, everyone knows everyone. And the first day she gets, to her mom's house, she runs into this horrible man named Tristan. And Tristan, in the community, in the town, he's known to be extremely mean. He's vicious. He's just angry all the time. And they like, just stay away from him. With him, it's like, don't bother me. I'm not going to bother you. Don't say nothing to me. You know what I mean? It's like, just don't bother him, right? But of course, she has been away from her town, so she doesn't know. So they have this interaction. It is horrible. Okay, horrible. So she gets acclimated with her life, goes on. She mentions his name, and people are like, you had a interaction with him? Like, stay away from him. But he is like that because of a tragedy in his life. And he is just so closed up. And again, don't talk to him, don't say nothing to him, don't look at him, don't speak to him. He's like that, but there's a reason why. And when you learn that, it's like, oh, okay. Now I can kind of understand why you act the way you act. I did a reading vlog on this book in particular. I'll put it down below, where I read romances in a whole week. And I think I read 3 romances that whole week. And this one was my favorite. If you guys have seen the movie Notebook, it kind of gave you something like that. You know what I mean? Also kind of gave me like the typical cheesy romance, but without being cheesy, if that makes sense. When I say cheesy, like, he throws rocks at your window and you look out and see him and your heart melts. Like that type. She gives you that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of like that a little bit. I honestly do. I like that fairy tale type of, books, but I also like the realistic aspect too. You know what I mean? In this book, it did give you that. One thing I would say I like about this author, and also just the genre of romances, it's gonna be a happy ending. They're going to get together. Okay. The second one is The Fire Between High and Low. Now, this is the one that I DNF'd, y'all. And the reason why, okay, so this is what a lovers to friends to lovers romance, and it gave me YA, and they were adults, but the choices that, oh, I forgot that boy's name. He just irked my soul, y'all. Logan, that was his name. I have Logan and Alyssa. They obviously are a couple. Logan struggles in his life from day one. Okay, his household is horrible. Everything has just been a struggle. Alyssa has been the only person that's been consistent in his life, but it comes with so much consequences. It comes with so much headache because of his past, because of, you know, his addiction, basically. And he just puts her in situations that he knows it's not good, and she knows it's not good, but it's kind of like, I'm a stick by my man any means necessary. I don't care what y'all say. But then one day he just ups and leaves. And that's all I got. Again, I did not like this book at all. And it was because, like I said, he just put himself in her in compromising situations that could have basically taken both of their lives. And just her approach of like, oh, well, that's just what he does. Seriously, girl, like, do you still want to be on this earth? With him, he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew what he was doing to her was wrong and everything that he was doing. But it's kind of like, this is who I am. I couldn't get down with this book. I could not get down with this book. And I was so disappointed because I liked the first book. And I do have to say, oh Lord, I hope, the second, the third or fourth book, like, I hope I don't have to DNF that. But I end up not having to. So that was good. Okay. The next one is The Silent Waters. Now, this one I did enjoy. You have a young woman named Brooke and a young man named Griffin. They have known each other since they were little kids. And she was like the annoying little girl that would run up to him and say, I'm going to marry you and you're going to be my husband and da 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 da. And he was just so like annoyed with her. But, they've known each other since they were kids, right? But one day when she's about, I want to say 8 or 9, one of them ages, she sees something horrible happen to another person and she becomes mute. And because of that incident, it has changed her life and her whole entire family life, where she does not go outside. She hasn't been outside since she was about 8 or 9 years old. She, like I said, is turned into just being mute. And the way that she communicates is through text and through writing. But the only person, and because she doesn't go outside or anything like that, she has a tutor, and it's cost her family, basically their livelihood. Her whole family's attention has been on her. And she has some siblings I think a sister that resents that and was like, you've changed the course of our whole life because of who you have become. But the one person that's been consistent in her life that really understands her is Griffin. He does things like the first day of school, he'll come to her house, like he came to her house and showed her, like, his outfit, and, just wished her well on her first day. And he's into music, so he sends her music. And the way he communicates with her, he has like his own whiteboard that he talks. It's so cute, right? And she wants to be like a normal, like, teenager because she's, I believe, like a senior in high school. I believe they're what, seniors in high school. And they're about to, go to college and all of that. And she wants that normalcy, but she's like, this tragic event that happened has really stifled her, has really crippled her. And he helps her navigate it. Now, remember I was telling you guys about the second book, how it felt YA, right? And although this book is not a YA book, and the characters, I mean, they're 18, 19 years old. Those are young adults or whatever. This one to me, it seemed like middle school, beginning of high school, in ninth, 10th grade. This one, it didn't. And then the last one, The Gravity of Us. This is probably the second favorite of mine. I really enjoyed. Okay. So you have Graham and Lucy. Graham is an author. He has trouble in his life. You'll see if you read it. Very to himself. He hates to ask for help. He stays to himself. He's just within himself, right? But something tragic, again, with all these books, something tragic happens to him, and it forces him to ask for help. He doesn't really have a choice because he can't do it alone. In comes Lucy. And Lucy is hippie. She's very optimistic. Sees like the goodness of people, right? And really wants to help. And she does, help him. But there is a connection between those two and why they end up, coming together. And when you learn about the connection, it's really, really, really good. Also, there is a twist to this book that I really did enjoy. Like I said, this is my second favorite of the Element series. I think I would say about this author, well, this series in particular, although she is a Black author, her characters are not Black. Her characters are white, because the way she describes them, oh, blonde hair, blue eyes, or a brunette, they're not Black. And also, you know they're not black because in her books there always is a picture, and these men and women ain't black. As you can see, this one is air he breathes. This is how they're supposed to look. The fire between high and low, the silent waters, and then the gravity of us. I remember when I was reading this series, I didn't even realize those pictures were even in these books. And when I was reading this, I'm like, wait, he not black. She not black. And I have to be honest, when I was reading, I said, wait, let me see if this author is black. Did I miss anything? No, she is black. I do notice when people review her books, they don't mention that. Now, I I mind it and I don't mind it. The reason why I mind it is because, okay, this is a black author. It's, and not to say that just because you're a black author, you have to write about black characters. No. But for me, reason why I picked her up is because she was a black romance author, and it already talks about, lack of black love, of, how, some men, black men, they go and marry the little white girls, you know what I mean? And I think as a black woman, when I really like to read black couples because I know that they're out there. I know that love is out there. And it's just a preference, it's something I like to read. I have read other authors that are, non-black, or books that are interracial couples. I don't have a problem with that at all. But I have to say, when I do pick up a black romance, assumption is the characters are both going to be black. But again, I don't have a problem with it. Now, there's one book that just came out. I think it's If I Stayed or something like that. I'll put it up. Now, that couple is black. Because if you look at the page, because if you look at the picture, they two black couples, and I do want to get that. She was at one point independent author, and recently, about a year or two ago, she became traditionally published because this series, because the Element series has been out for a while. They publish reeditions of this series. Also, I would say no shade to Brittaniny Cherry, but her covers are kind of lame a little bit, if you ask me. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If I saw this book and I didn't know that it was a romance author, it was a black romance author, I probably wouldn't get it. The only reason why I actually learned about this series and about this author is from Shaughnessy, when she was talking about black romance authors, and I was like, I had seen Brittaniny Cherry's name when I saw her covers. I'm like, oh, okay. When I read the synopsis, I said, let me give this a try, and I'm glad I did. Again, I know you should not judge a book by its cover, and I try my hardest not to, because, like I always say, a lot of times those are the hidden gems, and I know there's a method to the madness when it comes to those publishers. They do that for a reason. But I would say pick her books up. Also, too, if you're not into spicy romance books, you need to give her a try. She is slow burn. She doesn't hit you over the head with all that sex. One sex scene, if that, and it be almost at the end of, the story. She really holds on, crafts intimacy. um and that's another thing I love by her. You're not just jumping into bed together. She's really in tune into that. She's very, very low on the spice. Overall, I would say give Brittaniny Cherry a try if you're into romance books. If you want to get into romance books, I would say give her a try. If you're not into all that spice and all that sex and all that, she is the one. You're going to get some good characters. You're going to get a full plot. And overall, you're going to get a solid story. Yeah, guys, that is it when it comes to this review. And I'll be back with more black books. Bye.